The news at noon starts right now.
New this noon, police are looking for two people after a shootout on the east side. Police officers tell us that two men were walking in the 2100 block of Burnett Street when a driver in a black Dodge Charger pulled up to them. That's when someone inside that vehicle popped out of the sunroof and pulled out a gun. The suspect and the victim exchanged gunfire. One of the victims hit in the ankle and the suspects took off. Police think two people were inside the car. The victim was taken to the hospital.
What may have been a random stabbing downtown has put a man in the hospital. San Antonio police say he was attacked as he sat at a bus stop on North Frio Street near Haven for Hope. As Katrina Weber reports, police say people nearby helped them catch the suspect.
In the middle of the morning commute, there would be no bus stopping here. This Via Transit shelter had become a crime scene shortly before 7 a.m. San Antonio police say a man sitting on the bench along North Frio near Haven for Hope Way was attacked, stabbed at least once in his upper body. Sitting nearby later was a woman in handcuffs who they believe was responsible. Police say they also found the knife used in the attack. One man here told me off camera that this attack seemed to come out of nowhere. He says that the victim looked like someone who was just sitting here waiting for the bus on his way to work. He says he tried to help the victim using a T-shirt to try to stop the bleeding. Crime scene investigators collected them as evidence. The woman was caught, police say, with help from people nearby. Witnesses pointed her out, and Haven for Hope security held on to her until they arrived. Several people told us the woman spends a lot of time near the homeless shelter, but a Haven spokesman was not able to say whether she is a resident. He also declined to comment on the stabbing because it's under investigation. Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Other top stories this noon, a driver still on the run after hitting a man on the northwest side and then leaving him for dead. According to the police, the victim was crossing the street in the 1200 block of Bandera Road just before 11 o'clock last night. That's when a driver in a black Dodge Ram hit the man. Police say the driver did not try to help the victim and instead just kept on driving. A passerby later found the victim in the street. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Police found some debris at the vehicle scene, but the driver has not yet been located. Police also trying to determine if a man was drunk during this deadly crash this morning. Officers tell us that a man and the victim were both driving on Highway 281 near Thousands Oaks around 1:30 in the morning. The suspect crashed into the victim's vehicle. The woman who was inside that car died at the scene. Police have not released her name yet. However, they do tell us she is 61 years old. Investigators tell us the suspect appeared to be intoxicated, so they're running the test to confirm it. If that is the case, he will face a charge of intoxication manslaughter.
483 more people have now been diagnosed with COVID-19 here in Bexar County. This dramatic increase brings the 7-day average up to 321. Two more deaths also added to the latest report. In the meantime, inside local hospitals, there are 440 COVID-19 patients. That includes 61 people from El Paso. Metro Health is also reporting 153 patients are in the intensive care unit and 65 people are on ventilators. According to Johns Hopkins University, more than 250,000 deaths have occurred here in the United States because of the coronavirus. And as of right now, there are more than 11 million confirmed positive cases in the country. But there is hope on the horizon. Pfizer moving forward with its vaccine approval process, taking it into the FDA for emergency use authorization today. This means it could be one step closer to being distributed. The person in charge of that distribution had part of the Operation Warp Speed, General Gustav Perna. He says the U.S. has 40 million doses of that vaccine stockpiled and ready to roll out immediately.
We've developed a very extensive plan. We're going to get it down to the states. The states are going to tell us exactly where they want it to be.
Yesterday, the White House task force holding its first press conference since July, blaming the cold weather forcing people back inside in part for surging case numbers.
Meantime, the CDC is urging Americans not to travel over the Thanksgiving holiday, stressing that the safest way to celebrate is at home with the people you live with. But what about college students? As CNN's Bianna Golodryga reports, colleges are doing what they can to try to keep students from spreading the virus back home.
Students come all through the day by alphabetical order and get tested.
Sitting in a campus gym refitted as a COVID-19 testing site, Plymouth State University President Donald Burks has been preparing for a Thanksgiving break like no other.
We've got them tested and going back home safely.
The New Hampshire Public University has been testing students and faculty weekly since September. The strategy appears to be working. The school currently has fewer than 20 confirmed active cases, all isolated off campus.
We will have to adapt this Thanksgiving, just like the students have adapted to how they interact with each other.
Plymouth State recently hosted White House Coronavirus Response Coordinator Dr. Deborah Birx. She has been focused on speaking directly to students and administrators about the rise of COVID-19 cases as colder weather and the holidays approach.
This virus can spread among families and friends if you take your mask off and you're primarily indoors.
College students heading home for Thanksgiving are of special concern for Dr. Birx and other health officials.
Young asymptomatic individuals, the so-called silent spreaders, are fueling the epidemic in this country. And so colleges have a responsibility to ensure that they don't unwittingly unleash ticking time bombs into the nation's airports, train stations, and Thanksgiving dining tables.
Despite that concern, the CDC hadn't published guidelines recommending against Thanksgiving travel until just 1 week before the holiday. That delay in guidance led to each campus setting their own protocols, some more rigid than others.
They're all over the map. I think it's a recipe for a very jumbled Thanksgiving dinner.
New York State's university system will require all of its 140,000 students using on-campus facilities to test negative for COVID-19 within 10 days before departing campus. Those that test positive must isolate.
We want to give our families and our students and their families that they're coming over for Thanksgiving and other things confidence that we are maximizing all of our public health protection.
The University of Wisconsin system is mandating 3 COVID-19 tests, 1 before and 2 after Thanksgiving break, and even encouraging students not to go home at all. Other schools are taking a more lax approach. Both Penn State and Indiana University are not making testing mandatory for students before leaving campus.
Should mandatory guidelines be instituted in colleges before students decide to leave for break?
Absolutely. Voluntary programs sound wonderful, but they don't work.
Fortunately, many college students are being extra cautious.
My family's at home and, grandparents are back, so I want to make sure that, that I'm cleared before I come back home.
Bianna Golodryga, CNN, New York.
This year, the Raul Jimenez Thanksgiving dinner is going to involve a lot of meal deliveries, and those deliveries will include a special surprise courtesy of NEISD students. We have details on that ahead.
And a local high school star pulls off a huge come-from-behind win for Tulsa University. Larry Mears with the highlights coming up. There you go.
Military personnel lining up at local dealerships to get a free turkey. The annual giveaway, different this year. What folks can expect after the break.
And we've got a couple of fronts to come through South Texas before we get to Thanksgiving. What does that mean for our Thanksgiving forecast? We'll let you know coming up.
It is beginning to look a lot like Christmas in the Alamo City. Crews are still putting up lights and they're decorating the tree in Travis Park.
They're getting everything ready for the virtual tree lighting ceremony. It is happening on November 27th.
And when the decorating is complete, the tree will have more than 10,000 red, white, and blue lights. It'll be decked out with dozens of handmade decorations, too.
Now, the lights will be turned on at 7:20 on Black Friday. That's the day after Thanksgiving. Afterwards, there's going to be some musical entertainment courtesy of a mariachi band.
How San Antonio. But before we get to Christmas, we still have Thanksgiving, and there are some military folks who were able to get some free goodies ahead of the holiday.
It's part of the 10th annual Turkey for Troops event. This year was a little different. Instead of actual turkeys, people received gift cards so they can buy a turkey. Toyota of Bernie handing out 6,500 Walmart gift cards to military personnel today. They started the giveaway this morning and are expecting a lot of people to show up throughout the day. Here's how you can snag your own gift card.
If you're in the military, come on out. We've got a paper turkey for you. It's a way that we just thank you for your services. Bring your military ID. That's all you need.
The giveaway ends at 5 o'clock this afternoon. Toyota of Bernie says that if they have anything left over at the end of the day, they're going to donate it to the Hill Country Daily Bread Ministries.
And later on this afternoon, another giveaway. The Home for Wounded Heroes program will present 2 heroes with renovated mortgage-free homes.
How awesome is that? Oh. I ordered my turkey this morning.
You did?
I did.
When is it coming?
On Wednesday morning.
Is it cooked?
No, it's brined.
Oh,
I got to cook it.
You got to cook it?
I'm going to be on the morning show on Thanksgiving Day with
Next
my turkey.
Thursday morning, you're going to be cooking your turkey live on TV.
I will.
And then you're going to share it with us, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
I actually ordered a turkey, and I know a lot of people do the same thing. It's way too big for my little family that's going to be.
How big was it?
Perfect.
A 12-pounder.
Wow.
12 to 15 pounds.
Leftovers. Yeah, exactly. I know what you're thinking, David.
You could be feeding us for like the next 2 weeks, all the way up till Christmas.
Sounds good to me.
I'm good.
No change in the aquifer. It's at 658.6 today. Your pollen count still no issues. Mold is low at 240. We've got a look ahead to Thanksgiving coming up.
Never miss a story. Watch live or when you want. San Antonio's latest news and weather. Streaming free on KSAT TV.
Some folks may be getting more than one turkey this year. Elementary students at the Northeast Independent School District made some special turkey crafts to gift to some special members of our community. Alicia Barrera visited NEISD's central office to learn how they're working with the folks at the Raul Jimenez Thanksgiving dinner to make sure they're delivered.
Good afternoon. Well, with each of these meals delivered by the Raul Jimenez Thanksgiving dinner, recipients will also get a very special surprise. A handmade crafty card made by the kids, and some will make you laugh, others will make your heart want to explode, but all of them were made with a lot of love. In years past, elementary students from NEISD have created the centerpieces and placemats seen across the hundreds of tables at the Henry B. Convention Center on Thanksgiving Day. But since the Jimenez dinner is going mobile this year due to the pandemic, they knew a card could be the next best thing to show their appreciation to the community. And those lucky enough to receive these works of art will see googly eyes, paper feathers, scarecrows, and even receive some solid words of advice from some of the brightest and youngest minds at NEISD.
We really wanted to still be a part. We didn't want to miss out just because the year is strange. And because the year has limitations. So we literally have thousands of cards boxed up and ready to go. The children loved doing it, and our elementary teachers were excited about doing it.
Organizers for the Raul Jimenez Thanksgiving dinner already picked up the cards and say they're thankful for the time the children have put into making these cards. And the distribution of the cards will begin on Wednesday and continue on Thursday. And if you haven't donated, there's still a chance to do so for the Raul Jimenez Thanksgiving dinner to help cover the cost of these meals. Reporting Alicia Barrera, KSAT 12 News.
We were talking about cooking breakfast and lunch and dinner and everything else for Thanksgiving. Do you cook breakfast on Thanksgiving?
No.
Just too much lunch?
Yeah.
All right. But it's going to be a great day to cook, though, right?
Well, and you were saying a great day to eat outside on Thanksgiving.
Well, I think some people are doing that this Thanksgiving just because of everything that's going on, regardless of what your plans are, indoor or outdoor. It does look really nice. We'll get some great weather in here. It looks like by Thanksgiving, a couple fronts to deal with before we get there. This morning, we were dealing with fog. It was basically a repeat of yesterday. So it was clear, and then the fog came in for a time, and then it cleared out. And we're just looking at beautiful weather right now. 75 degrees at the airport. Dew point is at 57. That number is still elevated, but not over the top. We're not seeing incredibly humid conditions, but there is enough humidity there in the mornings to get these bouts of fog and low cloud cover there. Satellite picture shows we have some clouds moving through. No big deal. It's not going to keep us cool today. Temperatures should make it up into the low 80s this afternoon. We're at 75 right now, 75 at Randolph, 76 in New Braunfels, 78 currently in Seguin, 75 Uvalde, and then 80s down to the south. Cotulla, Kennedy, Victoria, Corpus, down to Laredo, all checking in with temperatures in the low 80s. Our forecast today takes us to about 80 here in town, and that'll be the case just about everywhere except for the Hill Country where mid-70s will be the norm, and we'll see mostly sunny skies up there. Dew point tracker shows that dew points are elevated today. They'll go up a little bit more Saturday and Sunday. That's going to lead to some morning cloud cover, some morning drizzle potentially over the weekend. And then we've been talking about that front, of course, on Sunday. Our hope was that we would get some decent rain chances with it. It's not looking good. We talked a little bit about that yesterday, and it's only going to drop dew points just a little bit on Monday. I don't think Monday will be all that cool. And then we'll see dew points return on Tuesday before they drop off again with another front late Tuesday night into Wednesday. Our first front is up across North Texas right now. There is some slightly cooler air behind it. This isn't bitterly cold. 59 Amarillo, 66 right now in Lubbock, and there's not a lot of rain along this front. Things are generally pretty quiet, but you can kind of pick it out right there. There's a little bit of cloud cover out ahead of it, but still most of the state is really pretty quiet. There's a couple of returns out in the Gulf of Mexico. We could see a stray shower or two over the next day or so, but anything we see is going to be very light and very isolated. And I've been showing this every day this week, but it still kind of blows my mind how quiet the country is, considering in the fall we typically get a pretty active weather pattern. It's just not the case this year. 2020 keeps throwing surprises at us, and this is just another one of those surprises, I suppose. But the long-range forecast shows we'll get some clouds Saturday morning, and then as we get into the afternoon, I think partly cloudy skies, a shower or two, and then by Sunday morning we're back in the clouds again with a couple of sprinkles perhaps, and Sunday afternoon our front starts to move in. There is a possibility of a shower or two along that. Tuesday we'll get some pretty warm air. A thin line of showers possible as this secondary front moves through, although rain chance is probably only 10% with this as well. And then dry air moves in by Wednesday and for Thanksgiving. Speaking of the Thanksgiving forecast, if you're going to be holding it outside, maybe doing a couple Zoom sessions with your family members, 74 the expected high temperature, mostly sunny for your Thanksgiving there. Looks pretty good. Rest of today will be up around 80. Southeasterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. We'll go 79 tomorrow, 77 Sunday, 74 a little cooler Monday, 10% chance of a shower Tuesday and breezy, and pretty nice Wednesday, Thursday as we head towards Thanksgiving, guys.
Question for you.
Okay. That was pretty good.
If everybody is Zooming at the dinner table, why is the turkey so big?
I don't know. And considering on the Zoom meetings, those were turkeys and they're serving turkey, that's a little awkward too. We won't get into
many
that.
Questions.
Yeah, so many questions.
Many questions with that animation.
A simple graphic turns into this.
Yeah.
Well, I liked Uncle Dale sitting there. That was pretty good.
I don't know how to follow that up.
I don't know either.
I don't think I can.
There's so many things wrong with that in some regards, but so happy.
But yet kind of cool at the same time. Hey, coming up, Cowboys quarterback Andy Dalton is back from COVID-19, and he said he still doesn't have all his taste or smell senses. And can the Texans slow down Cam Newton? Coming up.
Just from first time having concussion, I had the 3 weeks to kind of heal up and not take any hits and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, there is a little bit of a blessing in that if you want to find the positive in it. But needless to say, I was happy to be back in the building and happy to be back with everybody.
Andy Dalton trying to find a silver lining after dealing with a concussion and COVID at the same time at Big Board Sports.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
Dallas Cowboys quarterback Andy Dalton is back and ready to play some football after missing the boys' last 2 games. Dalton was knocked out of action in Washington October 25th after a nasty hit by linebacker John Bostic left him with a concussion. To make matters worse, he tested positive for the coronavirus 10 days after that hit. When it rains, it pours. And he says COVID-19 hit him hard.
With the concussion, first time, so just dealing with the different symptoms, headaches, and different things that can come with the concussion. But by the end of that week, I thought I was feeling pretty good, and then ended up getting the COVID. It hit me hard the first day that I had it. I eventually lost smell and taste. Early on, that's not what I had, but by the end of it, I did lose my smell and taste, and still trying to get that back.
Dalton added that he was a little surprised Bostic was only fined $12,000 for the hit that caused Andy's first concussion of his career. One of the problems for the Texans defense this season has been their inability to stop the run. They've given up more than 1,500 yards on the ground, dead last in the NFL. That's more than 167 yards per game. Now they face the Patriots, have a quarterback who can run, Cam Newton. He's the Pats' second leading rusher this season. Linebacker Zach Cunningham was asked if he believes the Texans are making strides in trying to improve their run D and at the same time slow down the Pats' offense.
Yeah, I feel like we've come a long way through the season with the run defense. Guys more confident with what they're able to do in their abilities. I feel like we'll definitely be able to slow down the the offense. So.
Moving on, Seattle hosting Arizona last night, a key NFC West showdown. Seattle running back Carlos Hyde was back after missing 3 weeks with a hamstring injury. Third quarter, Hyde runs and goes beast mode on Patrick Peterson for a 15-yard gain. Look at that one again. Hyde dropped the game-high 79 yards rushing. Moments later, Hyde finishes off the drive with this 2-yard run, and the Seahawks win 28-21. Tulane at Tulsa last night, and former Bernie champion quarterback Davis Brin comes up big for Tulsa. Fourth quarter, 6 seconds left. Golden Hurricane down 7. Brin rolling out to his right, and he chucks it 40 yards into the end zone for a Hail Mary touchdown to Juan Carlos Santana, tying this at 21-all. That forces overtime, and number 25 Tulsa goes on to win 30-24 in double OT. And Davis Brin replaced the starter and the backup last night because both those guys got hurt. Brin passed for 266 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he had a rushing touchdown as well. So great game by that young man out of Bernie champion.
And he's third on the depth chart, and
Third
he comes in and does that?
Yep.
Wow.
Might want to move him up number 1.
Yeah, maybe so. Awesome. Congratulations to him.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right, Larry, thank you. Hey, Christmas is coming, and if you're already searching for the perfect gifts for your kids, choosing ones that are entertaining and educational might seem like a tough task to tackle, but it doesn't have to be. Coming up today at 5:12 on your sides, Marilyn Morris with ideas and alternatives that most any kid will love. Michigan lawmakers are going to be meeting at the White House later today with President Donald Trump. The invitation comes as the president's legal team is trying to convince several Republican-controlled state legislators to ignore the voters and instead choose electors who would vote for Trump when the Electoral College meets in December to finalize the election. All this as the country hits 250,000 American lives lost to the coronavirus. President-elect Joe Biden called out President Donald Trump for not cooperating with the transition team.
It's going to put us behind the 8 ball by a matter of a month or more. And that's lives. How many would be lost as a consequence of that? I can't tell you.
Overnight, Georgia announced the results of their recount, reaffirming Joe Biden won, flipping the red state blue.
In the latest involving the coronavirus, Sweden now suffering from a second wave of cases. Now some of the doctors overseas are growing frustrated with their government strategy. The country was an outlier in Europe, shunning a strict lockdown during the first wave. Now the government is advising one, but not mandating it. And doctors in the worst hit region are calling for stricter measures.
And meanwhile, the country of Israel could face a third coronavirus national lockdown. The Israeli deputy health minister said he is concerned about the rising infection rate, and he advocates for the policy that the country shouldn't open up until morbidity declines. The infection rate dropped dramatically during the second lockdown, even though the restrictions weren't nearly as severe as the first general lockdown during the spring. Since the beginning of the pandemic in Israel, 2,742 people have died as a result of the disease.
Parenting can be tough as it is, but when you throw in a pandemic, working from home and trying to get everyone to wash their hands properly, just know we're right there with you. Coming up on December 3rd, our Myra Arthur is going to be hosting KSAT's first Parenting in a Pandemic live stream special. The panelists who are also parents include a child psychiatrist, an epidemiologist, and the founder of San Antonio Charter Moms. Together with you, they're going to dive into the extra challenges that moms, dad, and guardians have faced this year. You can leave a question for our experts or share something the pandemic has taught you about parenting by visiting the KSAT Kids section on our website.
Being grateful is about appreciating all the good in your life, and some experts say it's also good for your mental health. As Stephanie Cerner reports, it can even benefit both adults and kids.
It's not something we're born with, but we can all learn to be grateful.
When we feel grateful, we tend to be in a better mood, we're less stressed and happier, and we often feel more optimistic and positive and hopeful.
With the stress from the election season, the economy, pandemic, and more, it is especially important to practice gratitude now. That's according to therapist Jody Baumstein with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta's Strong for Life. Baumstein says the earlier the better when it comes to learning the concept of gratitude. She says parents should go back to the basics, teach kids how and when to say thank you, be a role model by being thankful yourself, and find ways to help kids appreciate what they have.
If you have the opportunity to even hop in a car and go to a farm or an orchard and show them how things are grown, how things are processed and made, it will help them understand.
Practicing gratitude can be something as simple as sharing one thing for which you're grateful for at dinner, or for something tangible.
You might choose to have a gratitude jar in your home and have some pieces of paper nearby, some pens and pencil, and encouraging everybody at least once a day to write something that they're grateful for.
Stephanie Cerna, KSAT 12 News.
We are all thankful for the beautiful sunshine that we've gotten all week long, and not so thankful for how dry it is, though.
That's been the one downside to this weather we've had this fall. Otherwise, it has been beautiful. We started off, as we mentioned earlier, with some fog. This picture sort of shows how it's set up. How cool is that? You can kind of see the tower poking up through the top of the fog there. That is awesome. This was sent in by Rob. Always some great pictures from downtown, and we love it. The fog was thick again this morning, at least in spots, but as quickly as it came, it left, and now we're looking at a lot of blue skies out there. We're expecting to get up near 80 degrees for a high today, 78 in New Braunfels. We'll see quite a few 80s on the map, especially down to the south and west of San Antonio. It'll be another gorgeous day. The air will be a little bit more humid, but not noticeably. I don't think you won't really feel the humidity all that much. Football forecast. We got some big games tonight. Looks good. We'll call for mostly clear skies. Southeasterly winds light, 5 to 10 miles per hour, 71 at kickoff, 68 degrees at halftime. No blanket, no jacket really needed. That's not necessarily the football weather we would expect, but it's nice enough. And we'll get some pretty decent weather over the weekend, too, guys.
You had a long string of those Friday nights. The American Music Awards airing this Sunday, and it's going to be a jam-packed show. Coming up in the spotlight, a look at some of the special performances that are planned for this event.
And speaking of sports, coming up in a few minutes, Larry Mears with the story of a young lady who has a big game on the court and a big personality to go along with it.
In Brazil, two friends want to bring the world of Harry Potter to life. How their project helps people experience the sensation of flying on a magic broom in the real world.
Hello, everyone. This is your daily tech and business briefing from Cheddar. Walmart and McDonald's are now among the top companies employing workers who rely on Medicaid and food stamps. Those are findings in a government report commissioned by Bernie Sanders, and they show that millions of those full-time workers rely on government assistance just to get by. Meanwhile, a story you didn't quite expect to come out of the Vatican. Investigations are underway on how Pope Francis's verified Instagram account liked a racy photo of Brazilian model Natalia Garibaldo. The Instagram account is reportedly managed by the Pope's team, but the Vatican is still seeking explanations from Instagram as to how this scantily clothed model's picture received the highest praise from the holiest of people. And the parent company of Snapchat reportedly acquiring music and songwriting app Voicey. This, according to Business Insider. The app, which is similar to TikTok, allows musicians to add beats and vocals to create quick and original clips. The move comes as the social media giant attempts to enter the music market. Terms of the deal weren't immediately available. And that's your Cheddar Business and Tech Update. I'm Baker Machado, coming to you from Cheddar Studios in Lower Manhattan.
Hey, a pair of friends in Brazil are trying to make everyone's Harry Potter dreams come true, if you have one of those. They developed a method of transportation called the Cloud Broom. It's basically an electric motorcycle with a broom as a seat. Okay. The team, inspired by flying brooms used by Harry Potter characters to play Quidditch in the popular books and movies. The two friends now finishing the product's price and marketing details so they can start selling it. But they're not flying. They're just kind of rolling on the.
Could it actually become a thing?
Yeah, but if you're going to fly. I mean, let's go.
Careful, David. There's a lot of Harry Potter fans out there. Let's go live outside right now. We got a few clouds, really comfortable temperatures, 75 degrees at this hour. 56 was the low this morning, 71 and 48 are your averages. And we were a little bit above average this morning. We'll be above average this afternoon, too. Records are 85 and 26. So we know it can get fairly cold this time of year, but that just does not happen here. We have a couple of fronts. Will they bring some cold air with them? We'll talk about it coming up.
This week, music lovers will have the final say on who wins the American Music Awards. Actress Taraji P. Henson now hosting the show this year, live from Microsoft Theater in Los Angeles. ABC's Romina Puga tells us what to expect.
America's favorite musicians are hitting the stage for this year's American Music Awards, the biggest award show in the country where the winners are determined by the fans.
The roof go down when I hit switch.
Host Taraji P. Henson is promising a night of fun.
We need this right now. We need this show. I don't want to deal with no politics. We just gonna have fun. Don't stop, pop that cat.
The show will be jam-packed with live performances, including from first-time nominee Megan Thee Stallion, who is heading into the night with 5 nominations.
I love her. She's having such a big year. And she's so excited. It's just so beautiful to see.
Feel so holy, holy, holy.
And a special performance by Justin Bieber on the 10th anniversary of his AMA debut. The global superstar will deliver a multi-song performance, including his current hits, Holy and Lonely. Bieber is up for the coveted Artist of the Year award, along with Post Malone, Roddy Ricch, The Weeknd, and Taylor Swift. But it's Taylor Swift who's primed to break records. If she wins any one of her 4 nominations, she'll beat her own record for most AMA wins ever. Romina Puga, ABC News, Hollywood.
All right, let's take a look at the rainfall for this year. We're still down 11 inches at the airport, 18.42 for the year. Del Rio still down quite a bit too, 7 inches down from the average. Austin just a little bit above. We're still hurting for rain here. And our rain chances next few days, not great. 10% chance Saturday, Sunday, Monday. That's all we can give you at this point. These fronts coming through look like they would have some moisture to work with, but just not there, not enough energy to generate widespread rain. And so we're still in the same boat. And going into next week, looks that way too. One glimmer of hope, maybe past Thanksgiving into next weekend, the next weekend, we may have some better chances of rain, but we're gonna have to wait, get a little bit closer to sort of hone in on that forecast. Right now, 75 degrees at the airport. South-southeasterly winds at about 8 miles per hour, gusting to 17, so that's dragging in some moisture here to South Texas. Temperatures up to 77 in Boulevardy, 73 in Bernie State, 78 Helotes, 77 in Hondo, 80 right now in Pleasanton. And we're seeing some 80s on the map down around Carrizo Springs, Cotulla, and Kennedy. Clouds held on a little bit longer up here around Del Rio and Rock Springs, so that's why temperatures are slightly cooler there, but they'll catch up, I think, here over the next couple of hours. Dew points, 50s and 60s, so that's some of that moisture surging in. This puts us in the pleasant, almost muggy territory, but it's not overly humid out there. You look at the visible satellite picture, those clouds around Del Rio starting to fade a little bit. But we've got partly cloudy skies along I-35 and to the east. And that'll continue throughout the rest of the afternoon. No rain with those clouds and no rain across the state of Texas and really no rain across much of the country. It is still very, very quiet. There is a frontal boundary up here. That's the one that'll move through on Sunday. It's going to take some time before it gets here. But tomorrow morning, we'll start off with cloud cover, the potential for a little bit of drizzle. It'll be light. And then Saturday afternoon, skies will become partly cloudy. There is an outside chance of a shower or two. That's that 10% chance. And then as we get into Sunday morning, same story, a shower, maybe some drizzle. Front comes in late on Sunday, probably Sunday night into Monday morning. With that, an isolated shower or two. And then Monday looks pretty quiet. Tuesday, we'll get some pretty warm temperatures. And by late on Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, another front slides through. This should develop some showers and storms, but it looks like most of the energy will be to our north and northeast. So again, we just get scraped with rain chances here, about a 10% shot. And then dry air moves in behind that. So it looks like Wednesday and Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, looks pretty dry, looks nice. Forecast for the rest of today, 77 by 1 o'clock, up to 80 by 3 o'clock. That'll be our high temperature. And then we'll slip into the 70s and eventually 60s. And by tomorrow morning, probably low 60s. That's it. 79 tomorrow, some morning drizzle, 10% chance. That'll be the case Sunday. Front comes through, cools us down somewhat. Partly cloudy Monday, 74. Another 10% chance and breezy on Tuesday. A high temperature of 81. That'll be our warmest day. And then cooler Wednesday and Thursday. Right now, Thanksgiving looks really nice. Mostly sunny, 74.
Really nice, really dry.
Yes.
Thank you.
You know, what's fun is when these rookies come to town, they're all wide-eyed and just a whole new experience and nervous.
Yeah, very nervous indeed. And imagine sitting there during the NBA draft and you're waiting to hear your name called. Well, Devin Vassell heard his name called 11th overall, and he said it was a pretty nerve-wracking night for him. Plus, in high school volleyball, Mari Hall has the personality to match her big outside hitting. Coming up.